There. Good afternoon. Here we are again. Our wellness gathering, taking responsibility for our well-being, focusing on the through the core alignment principles, focusing on making use of our time. And this is one session, and we'll skip next week, and then we'll be going, taking in the last one the following week. Anyway, Lynn, you go ahead and do your thing and make us all feel good today.
Well, how about we all make each other feel good?
Nice.
Because it's not just me. So what we're going to be doing today is we are focusing on the principles of aligning with our core and how we make the best use of our time as we're taking more responsibility for our health and our wellness. So today we are going to be looking at standing in acceptance. So we're going to start with a question, and the question for tonight is, what do you do that you can easily share with others? So my name is Lynne, and I'm in Calgary, Alberta, and something that I do that I can easily share with others. Well, the first thing that comes up for me is read. I like reading out loud with others. Instead of book clubs where I might just read it by myself and then come and report in to the group, I like to actually get on and read with other people and take turns reading. I just find that to be really fun, and it's easy to share with others, and it makes me remember when my kids were little. I think that my whole childhood, reading didn't come easily, but when I had children, man, I read books that I never read when I was a kid. So it was just an easy way to spend time. How about you, Madeline? What's something that you do that you can easily share with others?
My name's Madeline. I'm in Calgary, Alberta, and something I do that I can easily share with others is go for a walk. And I enjoy walking by myself. That's not really, it can be with others. I like walking with others because it promotes conversation and is probably an easier way to talk about things with people that it might be more difficult to talk with them about. So, it can be an easy conversation. It can be something that is sort of more on your mind. It can be, an issue that you want to talk about. But I think being out in the air and walking and being with others is really a good thing.
Awesome. How about you, Dawn Marie?
I'm Dawn Marie, and I'm from Sacramento, California. And one of the things that I do that I can share with others very easily is that I'm a Toastmaster. And I've been a Toastmaster for 23 years. And I took on a role to help with facilitating trainers this year. And I'm always looking for people to help with club officer trainings. I'm always looking for people who are struggling with that fear factor of speaking in person. I started a club with the club that I'm in, and I just really feel that fear of public speaking sometimes keeps people so stuck that I feel like I found an answer for them to guide them towards Toastmasters. And so that's something that people ask me all the time. What do? You sound like you are a teacher. No, I just have taken several years of public speaking. And so I try to be very clear and concise when I'm trying to explain to others about the benefits of public speaking.
Awesome. How about you, Olive?
I think. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
There you are. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. My name's Olive. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I like to share my cooking. I like to share food with people.
Awesome. Cool. How about you, Lorraine?
Yeah, I'm Lorraine, and I'm in Wausau, British Columbia, in the East Kootenays. Well, something that I like sharing with others is like you all, of a cup of tea and a muffin. And maybe
Yes.
just give them a smile.
Awesome. Well, there's nothing like food and conversation and walking and just being with other people, right? Having good conversations. So what we're going to be focusing on today is our intention is to gain awareness around the position of acceptance. And we're going to be looking at associating into the position of acceptance and standing in that state and recognizing the difference that this can make for you and for others. So when you think of acceptance, what was a time in your life that you recognized being accepted? So I'll go first. So a time in my life when I recognized being accepted was when I went to, well, it makes me think of when I applied to go to post-secondary. I applied to 2 places, and one place I got accepted and the other place I didn't. So I do remember that feeling of being accepted. Like there was a very physical aspect to it of actually asking for something and then having something meet that acceptance. So how about you, Lorraine?
You said post-secondary. What does that mean? I mean, I'm trying to remember what you did.
Well, I applied to SAIT and I applied to Emily,
after grade
Emily
12,
Carr,
yes.
and
Yeah.
I didn't get accepted. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways.
okay, that's, well, something that, when I feel accepted, or of course, I think I felt very accepted when I decided to convert to Judaism. For some reason, the community in Regina was very warm, as if I had always been there. I received a lot of hugs and kisses and smiles, and then they put me right to work. Join and be a volunteer. And I'm still volunteering for the Regina Jewish community, even if by Zoom.
Awesome. How about you, Madeline?
Sometime that I can think back and be feeling accepted.
Or you recognize being accepted?
Recognize being accepted. Well, I had really wanted a position in theater that I longed for, and it was sort of a struggle on the basis of being, it's easy to do theater and get paid very little, and what I had been striving for was a really good gig that I made good money, and when I finally got that, I felt very accepted, because of course that was my level of standard that was that I was reaching for. So it was it was a monumental time in my life, as it were, to make good money and be on an A show. So I think that was a moment of feeling very accepted.
Cool. How about you, Dawn Marie?
Wow. I'm going to have to go back a little ways. When I first joined my community church, and they were looking for people to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go and pray with individuals who wanted intercessory prayer. And they asked me to lead the group, and I was just so taken back, because I was very shy and didn't have that confidence to pray in front of people. But once I got my feet acclimated and the people were very accepting of what I did, it really opened the door for me to branch out in other areas in the ministry, which made it made it very comforting to know that they put their faith in me to let me pray for them and to lead a prayer and things of that nature. But I still struggled with it because that's why I went to Toastmasters, because I had that fear of speaking in front of people. So it allowed me to connect the two. And once I did that, it opened up many avenues for me.
Cool. Cool. Olive?
I think for me, when I recognized a feeling of acceptance was when my neighbor in Regina invited me to join a women's group called Beta Sigma Phi. And I've moved away from Regina. I've moved a couple times, and I've always kind of felt that that group was a safety net for me. Wherever I've gone, I have joined that that group of women, and I've just always felt very accepted.
Cool. Very cool. So what is something that you notice about being accepted? Olive?
I notice that I'm accepted for who I am. I'm not judged by whose mother I was, whose wife I was, where I was employed. I always felt I was accepted for who I was.
Cool. How about you, Dawn Marie?
I think being asked to lead intercessory prayer, even though it required me to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to be there at 6 to lead the prayer, but people were relying on me, and I felt that reliance gave me that vote of encouragement to do the best that I could with praying for people and being accountable, being there in the mornings when I needed to be there. And it really showed the ministry that I was accountable for what I said I was going to do.
Cool. So the reliability and the accountability.
With the ministry.
Madeline? What did you notice?
I noticed that it gave me, at the time, it gave me a sense of validation that I had worked hard to get to the point where I was able to succeed in that level of accomplishment. So, and you can do it, but you kind of look to outside forces to tell you that what you know is true. There is a moment where outside helps other voices. You want to be told that what you know is true. So I think that's what it did for me.
Got it. Yeah. How about you, Lorraine?
I think when I was, in that position of being a new convert to a different religion and feeling accepted, it was very rewarding, and it was validating, and of who I was, and no questions asked, and also it gave me a lot of confidence, and accountable to what the decision I made. Because it was a clear cut from Catholicism to Judaism.
Got it. So that rewarding validation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I think of being accepted, say to college or whatever, to a program, it had a sense of adventure for me because I was doing something I'd never done before. And somehow I was choosing it. You know what I mean? It was me choosing it, not somebody else choosing it for me. And so there was a sense of excitement and validation and sort of like a new adventure. So what was a time when you did not accept something or someone? Madeline?
Time that I did not accept something or someone. well, I have a very strong streak of you can't tell me what to do that has run through my life. And I think whenever there is an expectation from a bigger force, then I tend to go, yeah, I'm not going to go that route. So nothing specific, but on a general note, I tend to want to forge my own path. So I think there's a lot of moments in my life where I just go, I'm not a joiner in that sense. Like I love joining our group. I love joining on a personal level, but on a mass big level, I would say that was where I would draw the line. So I don't know if that speaks to exactly what we're talking about, but that's what came
Well, we're
up.
looking at a time when you did not accept something or someone, and what you're saying
Right.
is that
And
when something is sort of
put upon me as a I just don't want to get specific enough to go into, whether it be political or whether it be, a fashion trend or whether it be, it's just the whole concept of the outside, populace saying this is how you should be. And I steer clear of that kind of, I guess that's the popular, the popular trend, I guess, is what I would categorize it as.
Got it.
I don't know. I'm being vague. I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay. That's okay. Well, how about you, Dawn Marie? Is there a time when you did not accept something or someone?
Yeah, I volunteer for a local theater organization in my area, and I love to volunteer. I love to work at the box office, but they've asked me to get up on the stage, and I am not an actor. By no means, I don't consider myself to be an actor. So when they ask me, I automatically say, no, thank you. I will just continue to be at the box office.
Got it. How about you, Olive? Can you
Gosh,
think of a time?
I'm trying to think of a time when I didn't accept something. And the only thing I can think of is after I retired at 60, so 8 years ago. My husband was gung-ho to move to the West Coast. He was tired of Saskatchewan weather, and he thought that we should move to White Rock, BC. So we rented a suite for 6 weeks to kind of see how we liked it. And he would have moved there in a heartbeat. And I just did not feel right about it. So I said no. That's about the only time I can think of where I didn't accept somebody else's wishes.
Mm. Got it. Lorraine?
This is like true confession. Oh, I was just racking my brain when it was the time that I didn't accept someone or something, and I suppose like Madeline, there's lots of things I didn't accept, but one particular thing that really came out is the fact that after my first husband passed away, and I was busy downsizing my house in Regina, building a new one out at the beach, and of course a very close friend that we associated with throughout those years, he became a widower, and he was a needy widower, and he needed a woman. So he thought, well, there's Lorraine. I need a woman. So he started pursuing me, and he came out to visit me, and I said, no, thank you. I don't need somebody that I have to do so much for, because his wife did everything. And he was just there, a character and a big talker. And I says, no, thank you. So that was it.
It's awesome. Well, we often have things that we accept, and there's the things that we don't accept. Some things are just no thank you, right? Like, this is not where I want to go. like
Mhm.
one thing that came up for me is we were out visiting Lorraine and Randall, and we went for a drive on these dirt roads out by their place. And of course, they're dirt roads meant for either motorcycles or mountain bikes or ATVs. And we were in the vehicle, and Carrie really wanted to just follow this road that was this wide. And I thought, you know, I don't really want to go there. And I was in complete non-acceptance. And when we did turn around, but you know, on our way in, we got a rock in the tire, and it was a good thing we turned around, because our tire was flat by the time we got back to their house, because a stone had gotten into the tire. Anyways, so there's I'm sure countless times that, you know, we can think of. So what we're going to be doing now is I want you to stand in the place of acceptance and either accept that person, place, situation, or thing in your, you know, perspective now, and just notice what difference it makes. So when you stand in the position of acceptance now, what difference does it make? Dawn-Marie?
Well, when I stand in that position of acceptance of being asked to be the intercessory prayer coordinator for the ministry, it gave me that confidence that I can pray for people, that I can be a warrior and help people through some trying situations. Not counseling, just praying and giving them, you know, that spiritual connection to help them to see that, okay, this too shall pass. So it really made me feel like it pumped up my prayer life. It made me want to be more accountable in spending that quality time alone in my prayer time, to be more efficient with the people that I was to pray for. So I'm grateful for that, because I use it today. It's my foundation for keeping me steadfast whenever a situation comes up. I know to get on my knees and, you know, ask for that prayer. So.
And how about with the theater project? If you stand in the place of acceptance, what's different now?
Well, I've been volunteering for probably 30 years at this theater, and they've not convinced me yet to get on that stage.
How about you, Olive?
Are you asking if we had changed that decision that we've made in the past? That kind of acceptance?
Well, if you were to just stand in the position of acceptance where you are now, you may or may not accept it. But what's different now if you apply that stance of acceptance when you look at a situation like that?
I think now it's my decision alone. My husband's passed away, so I wouldn't be influenced by his decision. If that sort of situation presented itself again, where I had the opportunity to move somewhere else, I don't think I would change my decision, but it would be my own decision. I wouldn't have influence from other sources.
Got it. How about you, Lorraine?
Well, I think, yeah, I don't think I would have not, in the situation that I described, I would have probably do it the same. But I see myself, when I have a situation that I have to accept, and I have to feel good about it. I have to have that comfortable feeling. It feels good. And when things don't feel good, it's easy to not accept things. So I think it's that feeling of motivation, inspiration that is very important to me.
Got it. How about you, Madeline?
I thought of like my kids, bring up my kids. My oldest one, I was very hard on. I was always making outrageous rules for her. And then of course the second one was lesser rules, and the third one was kind of no rules. And I always think that when I think about my oldest daughter being, if I had had more acceptance around some of the things she wanted to do, it would have actually given her more confidence. And instead, I was operating out of fear. And so, you know, she understands that now as an adult, and she understands it intellectually, but I think deep down inside, she still feels like I was really hard on her. And not that we talk about it a lot, but I think that for me would have been, you know, had I had the knowledge I have now, I would have tried to act differently. I would have tried to give her a little more leeway in terms of her me accepting her decisions, and instead of just no, squashing no, no, you're not going on the bus at night. That kind of, you know, just
Yeah.
silly stuff, right? That you just go, no, I can't feel comfortable doing it. But
Good.
if I had accepted the trusting, then that would have made a difference.
Yeah. Yes, it's interesting to think of that. I mean, I think of this little situation driving on a trail. I mean, in some ways, I yearn for adventure, you know, like on one hand, I want that adventure, but on the other, I was thinking to myself in the moment, why am I so uptight, like, about this? Like, this doesn't have to be as bad as what I'm making it out to be in the moment. So I think if I were to stand in the position of acceptance, I may have not reacted as strongly. I may have just used different language to say, you know, it's really not a good time to just keep going on a trail. We didn't come prepared, you know, but it's something I would like to do, you know. So I think it's that comfort level and feeling comfortable. So our intention for our conversation today was to stand in the position of acceptance and to see how this makes a difference to you and to others. So what will support you from this conversation until we talk again, Lorraine?
Oh, I think this has been a great conversation, and it really makes you think that where you stand, where I stand with acceptance is that comfortable feeling, and don't get uptight with things that aren't that good to be accepting of. I think it's been a great conversation.
How about you, Madeline?
I think my takeaway is that it can even be, we kind of, you know, skidded around it a little bit, but it could even be accepting that something feels wrong or off, and still accept how valid that is for our own understanding. So acceptance can be not just being in agreement with, but it can be also understanding where it feels crunchy as well. Accepting the crunchiness. Yeah.
Got it. How about you, Dawn Marie?
What I will take away from this conversation today is knowing that I can trust the process, even though I may not recognize what it's going to look like on the back end. But if I just kind of go through it, it will all work out in one way or another. So learning to just trust the process.
Cool. Olive?
My takeaway is to trust my gut, to listen to all sides of the situation, but if it doesn't feel right, then don't go ahead with it.
Got it. Yeah, it's what I take away from this conversation is that it's never what I think it is in the moment. And I may, get upset and anxious and be responding to what's around me all the time, but it's really not what it is. But I do have choice, and I do have preferences, and I do have the ability to ask for what I want and accept it. either good or bad, right? Like I can be in acceptance, even if it's something that I might be saying no to or saying yes to. So what will you take with you that will support you for the rest of your life, Dawn Marie?
What I will take away that will support me for the rest of my life is that, oh man, I think just knowing that if I put myself out there in a situation, trusting that it will be the right path for me, and knowing that if I pray about it, it's going to work out. So that's what I'm going to stand on, is my prayer life and trusting the process and knowing that it'll eventually work out.
Awesome. Olive?
What I will take to support me for the rest of my life is that I enjoy adventure. I seek adventure, but I seek it on my own terms. I still,
Okay.
and I think I will trust my gut on things.
Awesome. Awesome. Madeline?
What I will take with me that will support me for the rest of my life, that I don't always need the exterior validation. I think I sometimes crave it for kind of more ego than for my own growth. And that, as has been said, trust the universe, trust in God, trust in the path, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Lorraine?
What I'll take away that will for the rest of my life from this conversation is, yeah, I think it's just the adventure, the good feeling of accepting, and even if something doesn't work out, at least you tried to do it, and just enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, what I take away that'll support me for the rest of my life is to trust the process. I really like that term. I think I've said that for myself a few times at different moments in my life. And with these conversations, each conversation has a principle, a process, and a practice. And when I got into this work, I realized that I trusted the process and not everybody else did. Like colleagues that I had, it was sometimes difficult for people to trust the process, but that was one thing that I know, if I can just trust the process, that's a big lesson. So I thank you all for your wisdom and input, and yeah.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you, Lynn. That's very good. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.